So when I created the Wine Source Fund, I had several parameters in mind when I did that. One was I kept seeing on the market that each time we had this disconnect between the day a winery has finished to make a wine is actually a very long process for them. It takes them 1 year in the vineyard, and then once they have produced the wine, they have crushed the grapes, they have finally been able to stabilize the wine, it's another 2 years of aging in the cellar. So by the time a wine is ready to be marketed, it is already 3 years old. So you can guess a property after 3 years has only one dream, is to start to get some cash for their wine. And the main issue has been very often properties are looking for cash at a time when the wine is not ready for consumption, because a good wine by definition needs to mature. And so you have this disconnect where on one hand, top restaurants in the world or consumers are looking for wines which are ready to be drunk, which are 5 to 10 years old. And properties are looking for cash flow because they've spent 3 years to make a wine, and when you spend 3 years to make a wine, you need money to pay the bills. So when I looked at the analysis of the properties looking for their cash after having made the wine 1 year in the vineyard, 2 years in the cellar, and on the other hand, looking at the top restaurant hotels in the world which are looking for wines which are ready to be drunk, I came to the conclusion that we needed a financial vehicle to put all the fine wines on the side, to make sure they would be with perfect provenance, to make sure that we would understand everything about the history of the wine, and to make sure that we would actually have a kind of treasury access to perfect provenance, authenticity in a time where there are more and more fakes in the world. So this is exactly what the fund is doing. The fund is getting investors which are putting cash, where they're getting a return of 10 to 15% per year for their investment. It's fully collateralized with fine wine and spirits, actually, we're buying both, that we put in a very secure environment. Octavian Vault is the main storage of the fund. It's a cellar which is 50 meters underground, temperature controlled, perfect humidity all year long, extremely safe. And so what we do by doing that is the day the wine is finally ready to be drunk, which may be 3 years, 5 years down the road, we have a wine where we understand the entire story. And that makes all the difference. Because in a world where people keep speculating, changing hands, trying to sell a case here, a case there, you have a fund which is very structured, which is having perfect access to the wine and being able to tell the entire history of the wine from its date of birth nearly to the day it's being consumed. That's very unique. And that's what we have done with the Wine Source Fund. We have made that possible for Wine Source Group, on the other hand, to have this massive distribution to best hotel in the world, best restaurant, whether in New York, London, Paris, Singapore, Macau, Hong Kong, which is quite a nice coverage, where you have the best tables in the world. And on the other hand, having this perfect cellaring for years and years of wines which are kept for the future. This is the logic of the fund, and this is where we know we have a very unique proposition.